Wanted to discuss briefly two quotes by Neale Donald Walsh. I have nothing against the man personally. When I needed some help, I did read his books, Conversations with God, and I found them comforting at the time, and I'm grateful for that. However, let me read the first quote. In the first quote, he says, "Life is not a competition that is tough, and our experience and purpose is not about survival. It is about expression, specifically the expression of divinity in, through, and as us, in the experience of heaven on earth." And those are pretty words. However, when he says our experience and purpose is not about survival, I'm going to agree with that in theory, but in practicality, it couldn't be further from the truth. I live in Canada, and I would say I am middle class, and I'm struggling. So my life actually is about survival. I don't have to look for a place to sleep. That's true. I do have that. But I have three young adult, older teenagers living with me, my husband. And no, we're just getting by, just. Now, I'm a middle class person, and I don't live in an oppressed place in the world. So for many people, millions and millions, perhaps billions, there's 7 billion people on the planet now, billions of people, it is 100% about survival. I have the luxury to take some time and go for a nice walk, or sing a song, play the guitar. I have some time to express myself. Just a little though, not much. I don't really know me as the expression of me, not really. Which doesn't even talk about all the years of being suppressed by a family system, different systems in society. So, respectfully, Neale Donald Walsh, life is about survival for people. Now, perhaps you're aware of that, but I'm wondering practically what's to be done about it. So I shouldn't really pick on him. What are we doing about it? So people do live in survival mode. They're born, they try and survive, and they die. That's it. That's the whole experience. Get shelter, get enough food, and in between, lots of horrible things can happen to them. They can become prostitute themselves, become drug addicts, be killed in war. So how could we do this if our life, and much of the statement I do agree with, that wouldn't it be wonderful, and doesn't it make more sense that we come here to be the expression of ourselves as with one, with creation, with God, whatever you want to call it, and that is what we are in fact, in the physical expression, taking the form of a human being. And needed the other part of the quote that I wanted to. So I don't think we should get all caught up in his statement, an expression of divinity. I think not in a religious sense, but in the sense that we are life here on earth. Oh, and that it's not a competition that is tough. Again, easy to say, but in fact, it is a competition that is tough, and very tough. People that have the money have the power, and they can move ahead. Money gives you movement. Money gives you the ability to become expression here as life. Well, is that fair? So the rich get to express themselves and be great at sports and be great at artistically, and because they have the time, because they have the money to purchase things, and to be able to buy the time, because they are able to do more than survive. They can pay their bills and have a very comfortable life where they're taken care of, and they have lots to eat, and they're not cold, and they're not getting sick, and if they do get sick, they have everything at their fingertips. So because they have money, no, they don't have to go out there and in the nitty-gritty to compete, work in a really difficult physical labor job where they work very hard all day, but they only made $100 minimum wage, which is reality for billions of people. So it is tough, very tough. And then there's another quote. Just want to look at it quickly here. How may you seek the kingdom of heaven? By providing the kingdom of heaven to others. By being the kingdom of heaven, in which others may find refuge and strength. By bringing the kingdom of heaven and all its blessings to those whose lives you touch. For what you give, you become. Again, they're very pretty words. I don't disagree with the words. I disagree with the sentimentality. So you read this and so it inspires you to be a good person today, to do act in random kindness, which is which we should all do all the time. So, you know, like I said, I don't really mean to pick on him personally. He has to make a living. He writes books. He sells them and makes an income for that. That's fine. I don't know that charity, perhaps he does things and gives to charity. That doesn't really effectively change the world in a concrete way that is lasting. So what I am proposing as a member of a community called Destiny Online is there is a way to bring heaven to earth, and that is through an equal money system in which effectively is almost equal, like there is no money. However, we would use money as a accountability in a practical terms, but a system where all your needs were met from birth to life. So food, you don't have to work for food. You're here as life, part of the food. You are part of the system that creates the food. You are here as life. You don't have to work to pay for food. You receive. So this is something that you would receive that is given to each other. We give it to each other as we contribute to producing food and distributing food to all. And with clothing, you get the clothing that you need. Are we all going to be little robots wearing the same outfit? Of course not. That's just silliness. What would be the point of expressing if we were all identical? Well, there would be no point because we're just all the same. So all of our expressions are unique. Your essence is yours. Just the way you see me and my movements and the way I talk and express and say the way I write a song would be different than the way you draw a picture. So that's all in common sense. Equality doesn't mean sameness. Quality is what he is talking about here, I believe. That's how I interpret it. However, we need a practical way to implement pretty words so that they are useful. And an equal money system will do this. A very good first step in this would be the big movement, which would be basic income grant. This would be a good way to start. So let's give a basic grant to people so that they aren't destitute, so they have housing and food and clothing and more than that. So that's just survival, right? So they have more than that, so they can have a decent life. We have a lot of fear when we think if we would distribute things equally, that, oh, well, then we're all going to be living in poverty. But in actual fact, that's not true. So you need to investigate that point more. It's not true at all. Equality, everyone would be living in abundance. Would we be able to do that in one day? No, it would be a process. So why not bring heaven to earth here? So we can be that and express that. Please investigate equalmoney.org. Thank you.